Karibuni sana, this is JPRC, and today we are going to be talking about doing good while seeking peace and justice. And before we start, I'm going to welcome my panel so that they can introduce themselves, and I'll start from my far left.
Anakiama, I'm born again.
My name is Samuel Mahongi. I'm in grade 7.
My name is Lavi Rimo and I'm in JPRC.
My name is Daniel Masimogeni and I'm born again.
Thank you so much. And my name is Masi Mwangi and I'm born again. So I want us to go straight to our topic of today, doing good while we seek peace and justice. My panelists today are children and parents.
First of all, it's good to have definitions of the terms that you are using. And the first one is you're asking ourselves who is a child, and according to the Constitution of Kenya, 2010, under the Children's Act 2001, a child is any human being under the age of 18 years. And we're asking ourselves then, what is it to do good? And doing good to children entails providing them with a nurturing and supportive environment that promotes their overall well-being and development. The Bible says in Hebrews 13:16, do not neglect to do good and to share what you have. So those are the broad definitions that we have for our discussion today.
Now we would like to hear from Love. What is doing good?
Doing good is when the parent allows the child to go to play, go for medication, get medication, and go to school, and protection and guidance.
Thank you, Love. Let's now hear from Sam. What is doing good?
Doing good is helping the child or giving the child guidance, like they have a right to love, live, protection of social and moral, and right from freedom.
Thank you, Sam. And before we jump to the parents, Love, you talked about protection. Kindly explain to us, what do you mean by protection?
Protection is when the parent helps the child not to go to dangerous places or not to play in dangerous areas such as near bushes, because kidnappers can be hiding there. And in the social media, nowadays there is cyberbullying, and when the parent tells the child not to go to some apps, the child must obey because the parent knows what he or she is saying.
Thank you so much, Love. And before I go back to Sam, let me invite one parent, Mr. Masi, to just bring in about doing good.
Maybe I'm going to ask my question to Sam. Sam, you talked about love, so maybe you can explain to us what love is, or what you understand by love.
Love is doing good for a child, like even correcting me mistakes, that's loving, and showing him that you are there for him or her.
Right, Mr. Masi, please continue.
Love, you talked about guidance. Sometimes you're told by your parent not to go out, and then you feel as if it's a punishment. What do you say about that?
The parents need to explain to the child that the places where I'm telling you not to go, they are dangerous, and maybe you can get hurt or even you can get killed. So the child needs to understand that the parent knows what he or she is saying and needs to respect him or her.
In this point, I'll bring in Mrs. Kiama.
I also picked from Love, and she talks about the right to education. And as a parent, I would say that every child has a right to get holistic education, spiritual education, formal and informal education. as the Bible says in Deuteronomy chapter 6. I would also talk about, she talked about protection from cyberbullying. And as a parent, I would say that it is our duty to guide their children, at times even putting parental control on how much the child is exposed to when they are using the social media or when they are using any kind of media. And in response to what Sam said, the right to be loved. And as parents, it is our right to love our children, irrespective of who they are, whether they have frustrated us, whether they have made us angry. I think that kind of unconditional love should come from parents. And that doesn't mean that we do not set rules and boundaries in the family so that we maintain the respect that is due to that mutual respect that is needed within the family.
Thank you, Mrs. Kiama. And there is something that has come up so well, and I would want us to all say our views, and it is discipline. As children, how do you feel that discipline will come in and you feel like still the parent is doing good? Sam, please.
That there are things that we don't know that they are mistakes, that us believe they're not mistakes, but our parents have the more knowledge that knows that this is mistake.
Thank you, Sam. Love, talk about discipline and in the way of feeling that everything is being done right to you.
Discipline is done right because if the parent does not discipline the child can grow up to be a very bad person and to have bad immoralities.
In this case, Mr. Mercy.
Maybe I'd like to add something about discipline. If a child makes a mistake, he should be punished immediately. A parent should not pile mistakes and then punish this kid later on. It should be done immediately. And the parent should explain to the kid why he's giving that punishment.
Thank you so much. Mrs. Kema, would you like to add something on discipline?
It's just like my colleague has said about discipline, being able to explain why is it that you're taking that corrective measure at the time that it has happened, that it doesn't look to the child like it's punishment.
All right, that is so good. I want to give us each a minute, and we say something if you feel like something was left out about doing good, and I'll start with Love.
Yeah, the discipline. There's some parents who show that because she has done a mistake or he has done a mistake, they don't punish him or her because they know next time they will not do it. But parents, please understand that the child cannot know if you do not teach them. So you need to punish them so as they can learn more and do the right thing.
Thank you so much, Sam.
I wanted to add that right to live. Mm-hmm. Some other parents take their children as a sacrifice for other gods. This should tell your parents that children are the most important thing in the world. Love your children. Let them have the rights that other children have.
Thank you, Sam. Mrs. Kiama?
Yeah. I would say that what Sam is saying is true, that as parents, we should know that every child has a right to live from the time of conception to birth to the time God decides that it is his or her time to be taken to the Lord. So let us value life and accept things as they come. Even when a child goes out of their way to do things that you may not have anticipated as a parent, accept that life that has come and know that God has a purpose for each and every person that comes our way.
Thank you, Mrs. Kiama. Mr. Mercy?
What I can add is that it's good to give children a right to say whatever they have to say, because as from what we've heard, is that they also know a lot. So let's give them time to, to talk their mind.
Wow, thank you so much. I have seen that we have touched all the areas that Mrs. Kiama started us with. We talked about the right to play, and that is the physical health. We talked about guiding them, and that is, of course, psychological and emotional, being there. Of course, there is the part of the spiritual guiding. You have to show the children their rights to go to even seek God. And there is also the whole holistic way of raising a child. And one thing that has come out very clearly is that for you to do all these things, you have to be available. You have to be available so that you're able to guide, so that you're able to protect, so that you're even able to see the things that will harm them. And they've really talked about cyberbullying. They've talked about, I've heard the word kidnapping. If you're not there, how will you know that they're being cyberbullied? If you don't guard or guide what they're watching, that is how they'll end up in being harmed. And as the Bible says, that we raise the children in the ways of the Lord, and even when they're older, they will not depart from it. So thank you so much, my panelists. Thank you, Love. Thank you, Mr. Mercy. Thank you, Sam. And thank you, Mrs. Kiama. May God bless you all. All right.
A parent being a positive role model, because you cannot be a positive role model if you're not there. And also being there, you're also protecting your children, even from family members who you may be hosting. And like the children said, quite a number face harassment, even sexual harassment, verbal harassment. It is good to be there and also to be a good positive model.
Thank you, Mrs. Kiama, for that addition. It is very, very important. And I will also say, when children are involved, they talked about love, and to them, love is equals to time. So let us all be available for our children as we raise them. And children, let us remember what the Bible says by let us obey our parents, and we know that commandment very well. May God bless you all. Thank you.